Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from the China Observer. Apparently there's over 100 million leftover women. And college grads and master grads are going to go live and actually marry rural men. What? Subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's give that chow. It's chow time.
我今年38岁了。
I am 38 years old with a master's degree. I am a high-quality single woman. I originally thought that in Hangzhou, I could find an equally high-quality bachelor. But until I turned 38 this year, I realized that those high-quality single men didn't even look at me.
Nope.
Now, the ones chasing after me are rural bachelors. In other words, if I want to get married, I can only marry into the countryside.
完了，真的嫁不出去了。
Oh no, it's over. I really can't get married anymore. I'm already 34 years old. What should I do? My mum is still waiting for grandchildren. Do I really have to resort to buying sperm for artificial insemination? It's so scary. I want a man.
This is how women in the US should feel instead of going after the artificial insemination like right off the bat as if it's some kind of badge of honor.
This is my undergraduate degree from Qingdao University of Science and Technology, and this is my master's degree from a private university in Seoul. You don't need to understand Korean. This is the official certification of my master's degree, stamped with an official seal. If I were to falsify any documents, I'd be in prison. I graduated with my master's degree in 2015. In 2016, I obtained temporary residency in Shanghai. Here are the property deeds for my two houses. This is the purchase contract and keys for my property in Jiaxing, Shanghai. You can see my fingerprints at the bottom. If the rain stops in a couple of days, I can show you my house in Jiaxing. I couldn't find the purchase contract for the house in Hangzhou, but I'll show you the property there in a few days. This is
We don't care. Men don't care about your properties, ladies. We really don't.
one of my BMW cars, and this is one of my electric cars. Although it's not valuable, it's genuinely enjoyable to drive. I'm 34 years old with a master's degree, 2 houses and 2 cars. Previously, I earned around 300,000 yuan per year, but now it's around 150,000 yuan. If I were a
I don't think that's that much. I believe converting it over to US, she's making normal US money.
man, I'd be highly desirable in the dating market. There would be many girls interested in me, and I could easily pick someone. But just because I'm a woman, I have little value in the dating market. The people others introduce to me are either financially destitute older bachelors or divorced individuals with children, or even unemployed rural singles. Does a woman lose her value as she ages,
Yes.
even if she's accomplished?
我的要求其实也不是特别高。
My requirements aren't particularly high. I prefer someone over 1.8 meters tall, good-looking, fair-skinned, with big eyes, preferably humorous and
So American?
able to have fun with me. It doesn't matter where they're from, but they must have their own career. Although each of these partner preferences sound normal, it's difficult to find someone who meets all of them.
They're not bad. They're not bad preferences when you think about it, but they're bad once you've hit the wall, and men don't look at you like that. At least the men that you want. This is the problem that all women have, right? It's the men that they want aren't looking at you anymore at that age. We have options, especially the men that make as much money as you or more money than you. Yeah, they'd rather just go with younger. There's a lot less problems when they go younger, especially when it comes to giving birth and having kids.
Her name is Jiaqi, a true Beijing girl. At 38, she still has a sweet appearance with a car and a house. Since she was young, Jiaqi has had a princess dream with her room filled with various Hello Kitty decorations. As the only child in the family, her parents treat her like a princess, praising her even for washing dishes at home. Seeing his daughter getting older, her father often advises her to be more practical and not set her partner standards too high. Although Jiaqi still doesn't believe it's her problem, her desire to get off the singles market remains strong.
希望有一个人骑着白马。
I really hope that someone will ride a white horse, tread on colorful clouds, and come to me saying, "I finally come to pick you up. You're my wife for life."
I might not place too much emphasis on material things. My bottom line is that she should be able to afford a down payment in Beijing. That's my bottom line. If I were to pursue a girl the same age, to be honest, I might feel a bit shortchanged because, in my opinion, a girl's most precious asset is her youth.
Correct.
How intense is today's dating scene in China? Take this 37-year-old female master's graduate, Huang Yan, for example. She was once a top student and campus beauty.
This is exactly what's happening in the US to the same degree almost. There's plenty of women in the US with high degrees and maybe some property. You know, the people and the women in the US aren't as good at spending as these women seem to be because they're buying houses at nice rates, 2 properties, even that. Most women here are inheriting their property through divorce, so it's a big difference.
Growing up as an only child in a well-off family, Huang Yan received meticulous care from her mother throughout her schooling. Her father insisted she keep her distance from boys and focus on her studies. Over time, this led Huang Yan to have little interest in dating, and she never cared much about others' opinions on the matter. Graduating with excellent grades from medical school, Huang Yan smoothly transitioned into becoming a doctor at a
Congratulations, you guys turned into men. Your parents turned you guys into men.
top Beijing hospital. At the start of her career, she was young, beautiful, and had excellent qualifications, leading her to have high standards for her partner. After several unsuccessful blind dates, she finds herself at 37, feeling the pressure from her parents and worrying about not being able to find a spouse. With the help of a best friend, her marriage agency introduced Huang Yan to a divorced PhD graduate who was 4 years younger. They decided to meet at a tennis court since both of them enjoyed
4 years younger? So he's 34, you're 38. Bro got options.
sports. The man wore black-framed glasses, had a square face, and a robust physique. After an exhilarating game of tennis, they both felt invigorated. He went by the name Lao Han. Huang Yan felt a slight attraction towards Lao Han. They then went to a hot pot restaurant for dinner. Initially, they got along quite well, but
Tennis and hot pot? That's an awesome fucking date right there, baby.
during their conversation, Lao Han lost interest in Huang Yan.
那个海燕老师给我简单介绍了一下你。
Lao Han,
They said you'd never been in a relationship before.
然后我之前离婚
Huang Yan, that's right, I've never been in one.
介意吗？
Do you mind that I've been divorced?
Huang Yan didn't directly answer and pondered for a moment. I think the person matters more. Lao Han persisted,
I don't know how girls view this matter.
feeling that the topic was too sensitive for a first meeting. Huang Yan ended the conversation with just a few words. After Huang Yan changed the subject, Lao Han's demeanor turned cold. He felt that Huang Yan wasn't being sincere enough and couldn't discuss the matter with him openly. He felt she wasn't interested in understanding him or discussing their future together.
Correct.
The blind date ended shortly after. For Lao Han,
Chinese men are on that drizzle, bitches.
his previous marriage didn't work out well. Besides looks and physique, his ex-wife wasn't suitable in other aspects and didn't bring warmth to the family. Now he wanted to find someone who could take care of the home, a mature woman to settle down with. On the way home, Huang Yan discussed Lao Han with her best friend. It was evident that Huang Yan still had some interest in Lao Han and was willing to continue getting to know him. However, when she tried to add Lao Han's contact information to her phone, he declined. Feeling confused, Huang Yan
Oh, they have to accept the ad? That's interesting.
wondered why things couldn't continue. Her friend analyzed the situation, saying that when Lao Han asked how she viewed his divorce, she responded with an indifferent attitude. Lao Han felt she wasn't mature or sincere enough, so he didn't see the need to waste time.
Damn right.
Furthermore, besides the difficulty in getting married, the emergence of single women may be more due to not wanting to marry. They hold an attitude of not settling or forcing themselves into marriage.
Welcome to the Americas.
我83年出生，今年40
They really think it's
I was
settled.
born in 1983, so I'm 40 years old this year. I'm single with no children, and I think I might end up being single for the rest of my life. Recently, many people have been introducing potential partners to me, but I've declined all of them. I'm not very interested in meeting new people, as getting to know someone from scratch feels exhausting. And if it doesn't work out, it's just a waste of time.
养老的问题。
In the eyes of many single women, economic stability is one of the important factors for a stable marriage. Therefore, the phenomenon of brides requesting dowries before marriage is quite prevalent. But the high cost of dowries has skyrocketed marriage expenses, causing many young men to hesitate. There's even a girl demanding a dowry of 5 million yuan. Such a demand undoubtedly caused a huge uproar in the
Considering that people average salary or the girl's salary as a master's was what, 150 yen? 150k to 300k? Yeah, 5 million sounds outrageous.
matchmaking market. Do you expect a dowry for your marriage? Of course. Can you give us an estimate of how much? I think with my qualifications, it has to be at least 5 million yuan. Could you tell us about your situation? I prefer a man who is 1.8 meters tall, owns a house and a car, and earns 1 million yuan annually. I meant your personal qualifications, not your criteria for a partner. My personal qualifications? I have a bachelor's degree. I'm 170 centimeters tall. I live with my parents, and I work as a receptionist with a monthly salary of 3,500
You're trash, girl. You're trash.
yen. After the video was released, it sparked heated discussions online. Just grow old slowly in the sweet anticipation of love.
Yeah.
Some people mocked, you should marry an alien instead. In recent years, the number of single women in China
Damn, Chinese people are harsh.
has surged. According to statistics, there are currently about 116 million single women in China, forming a unique social trend. Among them, the increasing number of unmarried female white-collar workers are referred to as high-quality single women. According to the prevailing Chinese saying, they are left alone because they are outstanding. High-quality single women often have a relatively high social status, are economically independent, and pursue freedom in life. But this group also faces significant negative societal judgments. Today, female white-collar workers in the workplace have more freedom and choices, but they still face considerable pressure and distress regarding marriage. They are often pressured by parents, relatives, and friends to get married, to stop pursuing their careers, lower their standards, and stop being so picky about potential spouses. Because usually, successful women like these are looking for partners who have better economic conditions and higher social status. They hope to find successful men with annual incomes of tens or even hundreds of thousands, or who own multiple houses and have various requirements regarding height, personality, etc. But truly outstanding men are few in number. As a result, the age of these leftover women keeps increasing, but their ideal partners never appear. Their mentality of preferring to remain single rather than settle for less keeps them persistently single. In the long wait, youth fades away irreversibly. But what causes anxiety among older women is that, compared to men, women's fertility is naturally limited by age. Medically, pregnant women over 35 are considered to be in the category of advanced maternal age, while men can still have normal fertility even into the 70s. The consequences of advanced maternal age, such as a 5-fold increase in the probability of congenital deformities in newborns and an
5-fold. Oh, finally some research has been done on this. 5-fold, guys, to get some kind of deformity or some kind of issues with your child. That's high. 5 times as likely to get something bad. I'd rather just go find a woman in her 20s and have kids with her and not have to deal with any of this with my kids.
increased risk of maternal complications are even more worrying and frightening for many women. Clearly, the natural structure of women's bodies cannot be altered, and this is one of the key factors that strikes many single women. Not only urban white...
What? Biology? We didn't know. We didn't know.
collar workers, but also rural women are unwilling to marry and start families too early, largely because their standards are too high. After all, in these years of urbanization, many young...
This is the problem. This is the whole 10 thing in the United States where every woman thinks they're a 10. All of these women think they're 10s in the category of wifey or partnership. You're not. Your career, you're hardworking, you don't even fucking know how to fucking take care of a man. Like, you live all by yourself, you've never been in relationships. What makes you think that you're going to be a good partner for a man? Especially men that make the crazy amount of money and the status that you guys want.
Rural girls have gone to cities to work after completing their education. They see a better and more comfortable life in the city than in the countryside and believe they have opened their horizons. Unconsciously, they raise their standards and requirements for a partner. So when people from their hometowns introduce them to men of similar family backgrounds, they are basically not interested. This also leads them to remain single at an older age. Going back to the roots, there are two major dilemmas that young people face in relationships nowadays. The first dilemma is the materialization of emotions and the pressure of love. But in modern society, everything comes with a cost. Realistic factors such as heavy economic burdens and high childcare costs indeed are important factors influencing young people's decisions to marry. Economists have introduced the concept of marriage economics. Marriage costs include not only material costs such as housing, education, childbirth,
And I wonder who pays all this cost, huh?
child rearing, and even dowries, but also opportunity costs such as time, energy, and the freedom of singlehood that one has to give up.
Wow. So they are actually going off of opportunity costs when it comes to being a wife and being a mother? Really? This is the part where I was like, what opportunity are you actually losing? You get to be a wife and mother. That's a pretty damn good fucking opportunity.
Many men refuse to enter a marriage due to very practical reasons, mainly insufficient economic capability. They cannot afford the costs of buying a house, a car, or paying for dowries. For most young people, the economic pressure of marriage is too great to accept a life burdened with debt. Living alone is seen as more liberating and relaxed compared to the financial strain.
Oh, imagine instead of buying a house and being in debt for 30 years, I'd rather just stay alone and single and pay the $700 rent that I pay now. Oh yeah, that makes total sense. It really does. Why would I take on extra burden, an extra dependent in a sense, and have to try to buy and be in debt to, create this lifestyle for this person and, my future kids, when I can just stay single and save all this money and time and effort? It's a good choice. It makes sense why people choose MGTOW, to choose passport bros. These men probably can't be passport bros because they can't travel like that. But, to being a MGTOW for these men, I think it's also a good way to go. I mean, you do die off. That's the only bad part.
Strains of marriage. Nowadays, love is based on a high consumption model. Throughout the year, various holidays require red envelopes, gifts, and surprises. Various activities during dates are generally not cheap, requiring a certain level of financial capability. The second major dilemma, in addition to material value, is that relationships now also demand emotional value, such as companionship, care, and thoughtfulness. All of these require time and energy. If you work hard and have a decent income but lack time, it's also difficult to have a successful relationship. Many young people's relationships ultimately end in breakups because they cannot sustain providing both material and emotional value. In such a demanding dating environment, most young men are becoming increasingly disillusioned with love and are choosing to remain single. China has a population of 239 million unmarried young people, and the average age of first marriage has been delayed to 28.67 years old.
Oh, it's still better than the US. I think the US is in their 30s now, like 32.
Some experts suggest reasons why young people are avoiding marriage and relationships, including having a fixed social circle, being too introverted, or not enjoying socializing. Some people disagree with these comments, with many online comments stating that the most direct reason is poverty, life being too difficult, being unable to afford marriage, or simply not having enough money. In 2023, the Chinese economy was not thriving due to various factors such as the downturn in the real estate industry, local government debt issues, and high youth unemployment rates. Many young people held negative views about the future and marriage. Even in 2024, economic experts are not optimistic about the prospects of China's economy. Many believe that the economic growth rate in 2024 will be lower than in 2023. Due to the sluggish real estate market and stagnant consumption, the severe situation is expected to continue.
That's the bad thing about capitalism, that we live off of consumption. We have to keep buying things and doing things for the economy to keep working. So people saving and people not spending money is actually a bad thing. That's the only shitty thing about it.
Today, there is a trend on the Chinese internet called Four No's Youth, meaning no relationship, no marriage, no buying a house, no having children. Facing the pressure of marriage, 32-year-old Zhang Yu recently told foreign media, marriage, childbirth, taking out loans to buy a house or a car, all of these are debts over during the future. When the economic downturn is evident, if there's no other source of income, we can only tighten our belts.
True.
Zhang Yu lives in northeast China and is currently
This is where I'm also a little bit confused by I see some people spending in the US here, and they're spending still extravagantly when I think everybody should be tightening their belts right now. You shouldn't be spending the extra money if you don't have to. You should be saving it, putting it towards savings in case something does happen. And shit almost always happens, guys. Almost always.
working in the infrastructure industry. The projects he is involved in are led by centrally administered state-owned enterprises in China, which seems like an enviable job. But even so, his industry has experienced significant pay cuts this year. Salaries have generally decreased by 30%. I'm secretly grateful that I haven't married and had children. Otherwise,
At least in the US, it's hard to decrease your salary because of, work laws and things like that, at least in California.
it would be a big problem. Zhang Yu believes that the poor economic situation has a direct impact on marriage rate. He explains that the one-child policy in the Northeast region has been well implemented. After marriage, both couples have to bear the economic burden of 4 elderly parents and children, which creates immense pressure. According to iResearch's quantitative research survey on the unmarried
See
population,
how it is a little bit different in in the Asian countries. You actually take care of your parents. They live with you. Unlike here, where your parents are usually well off enough or they live on their own. They don't need you. In Asian countries, it's not like that. Like even my aunts and my cousins now, a lot of them still live with my aunts because that's just one big family. My aunt is just a part of, the household now in a sense. Even though it's originally my aunt's house in a sense that she bought, but my cousins just didn't move out. At least one of them that helps take care of most of the businesses and things like that. They just stay home and live with their parents.
there is a predominant fear psychology among them towards marriage. 36% of them expressed fear towards marriage. The latest survey showed that the average cost of marriage in China is about 330,000 yuan, more than 8 times the per capita disposable income of 2023, which is 39,000 yuan. It reflects the heavy economic pressure that marriage expenses impose on both spouses and their families. Like many Chinese young people facing uncertain economic prospects, 32-year-old Victor Li, a wealthy entrepreneur from Shanghai, is also unsure if he can afford the various costs of marriage. He recently attended a social event in Shanghai specifically designed for highly educated and affluent singles. Victor Li said, "For us, marriage is a very expensive affair, especially in big cities like Shanghai. Economically speaking, the pressure is quite significant for young people, including myself." The event was organized by Julia Meng's company, Julia's Events. Julia Meng stated,
The pressure for U.S. men to have houses and have great careers is crazy. There ain't that many great careers. And if they do, they usually are in debt from college and they have to rebuild that career, pay off those debts. Even my best friend that works for Google is still paying off debts, like him and his fiance. They're still paying off student loan debts. They can pay it off right away, but it's also kind of dumb to pay off your debts immediately when you can use that money for other things, especially if it's not accumulating that much interest compared to other things you can do with that money. They're a little bit more advanced because they have a much higher salary and they live a different kind of lifestyle. But I even see it with highly educated people.
that an increasing number of people aged 35 and above are actually giving up on marriage. Young Chinese attendees like Jack Jiang expressed their desire to get married, but high housing prices, uncertain job prospects, and the overall economic situation are not conducive to marriage. This 32-year-old entrepreneur stated, "It's not that we want to be single, but rather it's the urban structure and economic conditions that have led to this outcome."
Shout out to China Observer. This is quite different child than I usually do, but this is really good insight to see another country struggling with leftover women and how these women think about themselves. No, they all think they're tens. They all think they are the prize. When in a sense, no, you're aging out of your prize. You're aging out of your value in a sense. Please extract down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.